Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu saying his country's response to what Hamas have done will change the Middle East. Indeed, Israeli military conceding that the border with Gaza is still not completely secure. The fence had been breached in many places, and that some Hamas militants or terrorists may still be at large, even continuing to enter Israel.
Meanwhile, the UK's chief rabbi, Sir Ephraim Mervis, has said it is a time of mourning and deep grief for Jews across the UK. And Foreign Secretary James Cleverly has visited the Israeli embassy in a show of solidarity with Israel. Well, we can go live to Liverpool and speak to politics and investigations editor at the Jewish Chronicle, David Rose. Good afternoon to you, David. Unfortunately, we are seeing incidents of anti-Semitism and racism against British Jews happening now, aren't we, here in the UK?
Yes, that is the case. This happens with depressing predictability every time there is a conflict between Israel and the Palestinians, especially with Hamas in Gaza. It happened notably in 2021 when what was in fact confined to an exchange of rocket fire and airstrikes by the Israelis led to a tremendous upsurge in anti-Semitism on the streets of UK cities. This is already happening again. We've seen anti-Semitic graffiti daubed in the Golders Green suburb of North London, which is very much a Jewish area. We have seen a kosher shop trashed and vandalised. The Community Security Trust, which is a remarkable organisation which exists to protect the Jewish community, is openly stating that it now fears that the risk will increase in the coming days.
We're getting indications that there may be more military activity, David, in the north with the border with Lebanon, and clearly that, bearing in mind what's happened in previous years, will be alarming. But is there shall I say, a basic ignorance that people are confusing the issue of Palestinian independence with the actions of Hamas in detail within Gaza itself?
Well, Hamas has been ruling Gaza since 2007, when it ousted the Palestinian Authority, which, of course, is based in the West Bank in Ramallah. I mean, Hamas is a terrorist organisation. Its charter says it exists in order to annihilate the Jewish state. Its leaders make no secret of the fact that they regard Jewish life as not human life. It is a racist terrorist group, and to confuse the actions of a body of that kind with the aspiration for a two-state solution with a peaceful Palestinian state coexisting alongside Israel is not just naive, it has to be malicious. The editor of the Jewish Chronicle, Jake Wallace-Simons, recently published a book called Israelophobia, and he suggested that hatred of Israel was in fact a new or recent form of the ancient hatred of anti-Semitism. Anybody who confuses what Hamas has been doing in the last 2 or 3 days with the legitimate aspirations of Palestinians for self-governance is not just deluded. Frankly, they are evil.
And what then of the part played by Iran? Washington is being a bit cautious about blaming any direct interference, but clearly the suggestion is that the planning of this did involve the Iranian Revolutionary Guard.
Well, this seems to be highly likely. We know that the Hamas leadership was in Tehran meeting with Ayatollah Khamenei and senior members of the IRGC just a few weeks ago. In the past year, I've published a number of investigative articles in the Jewish Chronicle looking at the influence of the IRGC in the United Kingdom and across the globe. And, you know, we have to be clear about what the stated goals of the IRGC and Ayatollah Khamenei, the supreme leader of the Iranian regime, are. They are explicitly to destroy Israel, which Ayatollah Khamenei regards as a so-called cancerous tumour. But beyond that, they believe in an apocalyptic ideology, which says that they want to prepare for the final battle between good and evil, when the Imam Mahdi, a mystical figure who last was seen on earth in the 8th century AD, will return at the head of a band of 313 warriors and fight this final battle. But the precondition, according to the IRGC and the Ayatollah Khamenei regime, is the destruction of Israel and the extirpation, the complete annihilation of international Jewry. That is their stated goal, and we know that the connections between the IRGC, not only with Hamas but also with Hezbollah, are now very close indeed. And clearly the great peril for Israel now is that if Hezbollah, which is in every sense an Iranian proxy, if that starts lobbing missiles in large numbers at the north of Israel while the conflict continues in the south, that is a moment of very great danger indeed.
Yeah, and indeed we are monitoring the position where there have been some incursions, suggestions of both missiles and drones, but we'll update people as we get more on that. But David, thank you for joining us there at the conference in Liverpool from the Jewish Chronicle, of course, investigations editor.
We have been talking about how thousands of civilians on all sides are affected by this. And Scotland's First Minister, Humza Yousaf, he says his parents-in-law are trapped in Gaza after visiting family, leaving him very worried if they will make it through the night.